So here we are live once again. Good evening, folks. Mobile Giza here, and welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. If you're new here, we do this every Friday night at this time. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Time in the U.S., and we have people from usually commenting and tuning in from the East Coast and the West Coast, from New York, California, Tennessee, Texas. Ted, if he joins us, he's coming from Dallas. And last week we had Will join us, which was really, really great. And let's see, the first one in here today was Brian. He got in here just after 7 o'clock, so he was good and early. Followed by Eleanor, who got in here about 25 minutes ago. So, and here's Mario. Okay, so now we've got Philly covered. Very good. Thank you, Mario. Glad to see you, brother. Anybody else that wants to say something in the comments, just feel free to type something in so I'll know you're there. If you're new, let me know where you're watching from. And as we do, I often forget to mention I'm live on both YouTube and both of my IDs on Facebook. So you can watch from Facebook on George Hayes or Mobile Giza, or you can watch on YouTube. The show notes are in the description of YouTube, and I will show you my website where you can see the show notes. Let me share screen here. Okay. So this is my website. Let me get my brand stuff out of the way so you can get a better look at it. Okay. So it's at mobilegiza.wordpress.com. If you click on today's date, you'll get the show notes just for tonight's show. Let me make that a little bit bigger. Okay. And since we're here, I always try to give you guys a little preview of what we're going to be talking about. So I found an article by Phil Nicholson, and those of you who don't know Phil Nicholson, he ran Android Central for quite a while, and then he's moved over to Digital Trends now, but he brought up the 2011 Motorola Xoom, and he's kind of called it the first Pixel tablet. So we're going to take a look at that. That's what it looked like back then. So that's quite a while ago. It's 12 years ago. And then we're going to go, I said Threads, this week's big thing. And yes, Threads, everybody's talking about Threads, which is Instagram's alternative to Twitter. So I've got 3 kind of short stories, but this was really the big thing this week, starting on Wednesday. So I finally made myself an ID on Threads about 2 hours ago, but since it was a work day, I haven't had time to mess around with it, but I did get an ID on there. And if you're on Instagram, you can get on Threads. If you're not on Instagram, I think you have to sign up for Instagram to get on Threads, but we'll see that in these stories. So I've got those 3 quick stories about that. And I did see a story, haven't had a chance to watch it, that Elon is very upset about it, and he's threatening to sue Mark Zuckerberg, who owns Facebook, or Meta owns Instagram. So, of course, they own Threads. And Elon is threatening to sue. I don't think anything's going to come of it because he's taken his employees that have quit and blah, blah. But let's remember, Elon fired a bunch of his employees, and I gather some of them went and worked on Threads. So we'll see what happens with that. But I didn't include that story. I just happened to find it a little while before I started broadcasting. So I've got those 3, which is the big one. And then we did have, a couple of days ago, official renders of Samsung's new foldables, and we know Samsung's We'll be showing them on the 26th of this month. So we'll just take a look at some of those pictures. That's a very short article that was on Ars Technica. And then I happened to see a story. I don't know if you've heard about this. Apple cutting back on Vision Pro production. This is also on Digital Trends. I'm heavy on Digital Trends this week. But they initially wanted 1 million of these headsets, and it looks like they're really cutting back big time. Not Apple's fault, though, so we'll go into that story. And finally, I found somebody who really loves the Motorola Razr Plus. And let me see if I can change this view back a little bit. And I included this because last night I got mine. So there's my Razr Plus. I've used it 24 hours so far. I used it all day at work today. And I have to say, this is easily the most beautiful phone I've ever had. And I was lucky to get nice leather on the back, so it's really nice. And I felt confident enough, very unusual for me, that I haven't gotten my case yet. But I felt confident enough that I could take this out without a case, and I'm good to go. So I figured I'd include that story. Joe Maring is the one who wrote that story. Joe Maring is, I guess he's in his mid to late 20s, but I've been following him as a writer at least 10 or 11 years since he was in mid-high school. So the guy's a very good writer, so I have a lot of respect for what he says about it. So we'll be going over that. And that is the longest story that I have today. So those are the stories that we'll be going over. Let me stop screen. I believe Ted will be joining us, but Ted Alice. So it's kind of important that his bike is running well. He said he had to stop and replace a seat on his bicycle that fell off yesterday. So it's kind of important for him to replace that saddle on his bicycles. So it sounds like he's going to join us, but he'll just be a little bit late. And if we get lucky again that Will joins us, that would be awesome. But I was very, very happy and pleased that Will joined us again. And as I say every week, I don't see Mike joining us anymore anytime soon because he's been door dashing and making good money, I gather. But this week he was on vacation and he's been posting pictures from North Carolina. So he seems to be enjoying himself very, very much. Oh, and by the way, I have not done a picture on this one as yet, but either tonight or tomorrow you'll see it. There will be a video or probably 2 or 3 videos up over the weekend. So be on the lookout for that. I'm probably not going to do a straight up unboxing, but I'll certainly do impressions and give you an idea of what I think. I'm going to try to do maybe 2 videos comparing it to the Z Flip 4. So be on the lookout for that. So let me go back, put my branding stuff back. Let's see. Okay. Go back to the comments. And Brian saying hi to Mario. And Brian said, do I like it better than the Flip? I have to say yes. Now, of course, if you guys remember, you'll pretty much all know I love the Z Flip, but this is nicer. This, of course, everybody talks about this outside screen, which you can pretty much do everything on it. The fingerprint sensor on this thing is great. And you can do, let me see if I can you can do lots of things on this screen. And I've seen a bunch of videos that say you can practically add any app you want on this screen. And I've seen a few videos where both male and female people presenting the videos were saying they could pretty much stay on this screen all day and never have to open it up because the screen is so useful. So, oh, and I know you guys are used to seeing me do my flipping on the Z Flip. So yes, I've also flipped this one. And as soon as I got it, I always show my new phones to Eleanor, and she always says, well, it's too heavy or stupid. She loved this one also. So it's nice and very, very light, not too big, and it's really easy to deal with. So, of course, I'm still learning. I haven't used the front display much, but there we go. See, am I going to get the pick? Not a chance. I haven't gotten any of the folds. I'm not willing to spend $1,800 on a phone. Now, I'm waiting to see what the OnePlus Fold is going to be like, because I'm not getting the Pixel Fold, and I'm not getting any of the Samsung Folds, and I'm going to be skipping the Samsung Flip 5 because I got this. But I'm waiting to see what the cost of the OnePlus Fold is going to be, and I guess we'll find that out sometime this month also, if I remember correctly. If that's not $1,800, if it's really reasonable, like $1,000, that I could see myself getting. We'll have to wait and see. But of course, as I was saying to Will last week, he likes his Apple Watch. What's the Apple Watch, the heavy duty one? So much. I'm thinking about getting that when it comes out, but I'm probably not going to get anything else like the iPhone 15 is my guess, especially if it's going up in price like everybody says. And Brian, thank you so much. As always, sir, you're always very, very kind. You've always helped me achieve things like this, and it's very, very much appreciated. And so does Renz. Renz also, thanks to Brian and Renz, I always have a little bit of money going towards the things you see coming up on the show. Brian says, looked like the super chats work on a Pixel today. Yeah, last week he was having a problem with it. So, and that's what he was saying earlier. It's like, where did he have that? Brian said earlier, still waiting for a Pixel device without an obvious weakness. After 7 generations, maybe it will happen on the 8th attempt. And I just said, I wouldn't hold my breath because it's never happened yet. Yeah, they came out with great phones, but never so far one without some kind of problem. So who knows? It'd be nice if Brian was right, though. So, right, Ted's not here yet. Not sure. The only thing I saw from Will earlier before I started the show, he had typed in asking. He had typed in a telegram asking if any of us had gotten to Threads. Well, I did open up an ID on Threads, and I haven't had any chance to look at it yet. So, anybody else that's coming in to say something in the comments, I'll know you're there, and I'm going to get back to the stories. So I always try to save the big story of the week for at least a second to give people time to get here. So we're going to start with the 2011 Motorola Xoom, the first Pixel tablet, according to Phil Nicholson. Yes. So that's on Digital Trends. So let's take a look. He said, we already had a Pixel tablet 12 years ago. You just forgot about it. And this was 3 days ago by Phil. So let's go into read a view. Where am I? Okay. Clicking the wrong thing. Okay, get rid of some of these ads. The Google Pixel tablet isn't the first time we've tried this. It didn't end so well then, and likely it's going to disappear with a whimper again. So he doesn't seem to have a whole lot of faith in this tablet, and that's a shame. The year was 2011. It was an exciting time for Android, with the manufacturers almost tripping over themselves to release new devices faster than those of us who covered the things for a living could keep up. It wasn't uncommon for a device announcement to actually see several new products drop at the same time. Between the evolution of the Android software, the progression of hardware it ran on, and the completion and the competition of the U.S. carriers to have the fastest network. Yeah, they were all trying to do that in the land. Things were moving fast. And this was about the time that I really got interested in this mobile stuff. Motorola already tried this 12 years ago, and he's showing what it looked like back then. Motorola dropped 4 new products on us that January at CES in Las Vegas. I was there. All ultimately were forgettable, including the awkwardly or awesomely, depending on who you ask, named Motorola Xoom, a tablet. It wasn't the first. Samsung laid claim to that with the Galaxy Tab. That's true. But the Xoom was to be the first to run a new version of the software, Android 3.0 Honeycomb. Anybody remember that? That's way back. It was powered by the NVIDIA Tegra 2 platform, which excited nerds for all sorts of reasons. Less exciting was that it launched with a 4G LTE SIM card that didn't work yet and would require you to send the whole thing in later if you wanted to upgrade. That's pretty rough on a new product. Meanwhile, a month after that CES announcement, journalists were invited to the Googleplex in Mountain View to get an inside look at the new Honeycomb software. I was there too. Long story short, there is that Honeycomb. Long story short, there is that Honeycomb didn't even last a year or make it onto phones. It was replaced by Android 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich. I remember that about 8 months later, and I think that's where I came in. The Honeycomb software was, to put it politely, not exactly a success. And when I say came in, that's when I started getting interested in phones. I didn't have a channel yet. It's from the Honeycomb event at the Googleplex in Mountain View, California, February 2011. Bringing this story back around to the present day, the Motorola Xoom had an optional speaker dock, so kind of the same thing. You'd plug the thing in. There were connectors for a micro USB and micro HDMI, and it'd pump up the jams in a way the fledgling tablet simply couldn't. I had one in the course of testing. The review is still live. Wow. Though the published date is now obviously wrong and the resolution of the images hasn't stood the test of time, and multiple changes to the platform that powers the website. Let me see if I click on that, what happens. Okay, that's back then when he was in charge of Android Central, so the review is still there. Cool. I hadn't tried clicking on that. Okay. Where it was, okay. More's the pity. Google has its own tablet again with the Pixel tablet, and again, it's a tablet with a speaker dock that also serves as a wireless charging dock. Everything old is new again. Yep, nothing new under the sun. And I remember at the time.
On the website digitaltrends.com, they say Google has its own tablet.
Hey, Google, stop. Thank you. Didn't mean that. Okay. I remember at the time loving the idea of a tablet, even one as big and clunky as the Xoom. Hey, it was a dozen years ago. I remember loving the idea of having a tablet I could present and use in different rooms as a display or in my hands for that more personal touch. And I remember that idea being a bit of a failure just on principle. Now, and this is where he explains it. I'd be in the kitchen ready to watch or listening to something while I was cooking, but the tablet was still in the bedroom. Or on occasion, it would be the other way around. That wasn't so much a failure of the Motorola Xoom itself, though let's be clear. Android hardware from back then likely didn't last 2 years. if that, if only because the software would have left it behind, but as a failure in the principle of the docked tablet. And Renz is in here. Hey, brother. Took time out of your busy day for us. Thank you. Very much appreciated. So we're talking about the Motorola Zoom from 2011 that Phil Nicholson wrote about back then. Google itself has undermined that idea a good bit with devices like the Nest Hub, the 7-inch display, and the 10-inch Nest Hub Max. Good displays, speakers, software that, works, plus the prices are right at $99 and $229 respectively. Oh, and while we're talking about the Nest Hub, Eleanor has been having a problem with hers, and we replaced hers last year at least once, and it's just not been acting right, responding right. It won't play when she wants to play FX, it won't play it from the YouTube TV, but it will play all the other channels when she tells it to. And then I found out watching Mr. Mobile that the whole Google Assistant has been having problems on the Nest Hub, and then he showed like hundreds of other people having the same kinds of problems. So I just wanted to mention that. Okay, the Nest Hub is cheap enough, especially if you snag one on sale, it's true, to have several stashed through the home. Yeah, Elma has one upstairs, and then we've got speakers down here, and she's got one in the bedroom. I have one in my house and a couple of speakers. Another in the bedroom. My kids have them. I've got a Nest Hub in the kitchen. It serves as a secondary TV sometimes. That's what Elma uses it for mostly, or as a timer for making coffee, or a way to control the air conditioning when I walk in the back door. Or the options are endless, and they are so because the Nest Hub Max, like its smaller siblings, doesn't have a habit of changing rooms. I know exactly where it is at any given time, and so does everyone else in my family. So, yeah, that looks just like Elmo's and mine, of course. Google has attempted to bridge the software gap between tablet and hub, though our Pixel tablet review points out that there's obviously still some work to be done, which revives the discussion over whether Google institutionally is even capable of the internal focus it has to make such a complicated product be more than a minimally viable product. Yeah, Google hasn't been great at that so far. The Motorola Zoom was that in 2011, and it died an unceremonious death along with the software that ran on it and the speaker dock you would have had to pay even more for. The Nest Hubs in my home are still used today after several years, quietly doing exactly what it is I need them to do. So maybe he hasn't had the problems that a lot of us have had in the spaces I need them to do it in. I don't know what software is on them, and I don't care. The Pixel tablet is a modern-day retelling of a story that's already been written, and it's doubtful that the ending is going to change this time. So he doesn't have much faith in Google getting this right. So Phil spent the 2000s making newspapers with the Pensacola, Florida News Journal. I didn't know that, but I know he lives in Pensacola. At least he always did. I'd be so angry if the Galaxy Z Flip 5 to, oh, different story. Okay, don't want to go down there. So I just thought that was an interesting story to point out. And I'm going to get out of here. Stop screen. Okay, nothing else new in the comments. Okay. No TED as yet. So we will go on to our next story. And now we're going to deal with all the big news of the week. Oh, and I guess Renz, before I do that, I should show you the last story is about the Razer Plus. That's because I got my Razer Plus last night, used it all day today while I was working, but I absolutely love it. I think it's a perfect size. It's light. It's easy to use. It's got the leather on the back, and I just love it so far. So just wanted you to see that I had it. So there's Will in the comments. Will, if you feel like joining us again, it'd be awesome. Now, of course, everybody's saying hi to Will. And of course, Will already has the link. And the next stories that are coming up all have to do with Threads, because that's the hotness of the week. Brian did like he said there. Yeah, everybody loves this red claw. Even though I got mine, a week and a half behind most people, I was so glad I was able to get it. It is just, I said to Elna, this is easily the most beautiful phone I've ever had. Renz is still using the 13 mini here because of the size, but the battery sucks. Yeah, but I know you love that size. And this, I think, if you're willing to spend the money, this would be a great one size-wise. It's not big. It's very, very light. And I think it's worth the money. So just my opinion. Okay. Now, of course, the pictures won't be as great as the 13 mini is my guess, but still pretty good, I would think. Brian says, how bad is the battery life on the 13? Yeah, Renz has always said he wasn't crazy about the battery life on it. So, but he stuck with it because he likes that size. Okay. I was trying to wait to see if Will would pop in. And Ren says 3 hours screen on time from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. So yeah, 3 hours isn't much. That's for sure. Not for 13 hours. Yeah, Ryan says that is definitely not good. So, all right, I'm going to go back to my stories. Share screen again. All right, and what I said was Threads, this week's big thing. So I've got 3 different stories. First one is from The Verge, 95 million posts already. That's in less than a day. So Threads already has over 95 million posts. And this was, yesterday in the afternoon. So and it come out Wednesday night. So that's in less than a day. That's pretty good. And I saw something where had something like over 100 million now. Saw that somewhere today. So let's go into reader view, get rid of some of these ads. Instagram's new Threads app seems like it could be a hit. Mark Zuckerberg said that the app has more than 30 million signups as of Thursday morning. Well, they passed that already. I finally signed up tonight. And people who are checking it out are posting or threading a lot too. According to internal data I've seen, there have already been more than 95 million posts and 190 million likes shared. And Will is in here.
George.
What's up, sir? Glad you got
Not
here.
much. Yeah, I can't read. I'm too lazy.
That's okay. That's okay. I think Ted will be here after he gets his bike stuff straightened out. But I
saw that he needed a new seat or something.
Needs a new saddle, because his fell off, and he rides his to work every day, so it's kind of important for him.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm in the middle. I'm in the first story about the Threads. So, 190 million likes shit. All that has happened in less than 24 hours. The app launched Wednesday evening on iOS and Android. Yeah, you can't get this on a computer. Significantly earlier than the original Thursday launch time. And a lot of people are checking it out. It's currently the top free app on the App Store. My guess is it's probably the current top free app on both now. There's still a lot missing from Threads. Yeah, you can't delete your Threads account without deleting your Instagram account. Yeah, we'll get to that later. For example, if the app doesn't have features like DMs, and the app doesn't have features like DMs, a reverse chronological following feed, or planned integration with the decentralized activity pub protocol. So it doesn't have any of those things. But these launch numbers point to a promising start for Meta's new Twitter competitor. I don't know if you heard me, Will, but I saw a story that I didn't get a chance to read all of earlier, that Elon is very upset and he's threatening,
Yeah, I
he's
know.
threatening Mark with suing him and all kinds of stuff. And somebody, Louis Rosberg, who I follow a lot, and he was calling Elon all kinds of names. He says, you're going to fire people, make fun of them in front of millions of people, and then you're going to complain that they went to Meta, And I think he's got a point. I think he's got a point there. So anyway, this is very hot stuff, and I suspect we're going to be. I don't think Elon has a leg to stand on, but we'll see. Okay. Now we'll have to wait and see if people stick around. Okay. And that's all there is.
You didn't use it.
That's I signed up for it. And that's all I had time to do. I haven't had even a chance to post anything yet.
So I used it a little bit. I think
the
thing that they're going to need to do, and I don't remember exactly. I just use Twitter, but I don't remember how it works. But you know how on Twitter you can go on there and get news, and they have like trending topics.
Right.
If they want to beat Twitter, they're gonna have to come with like that type of stuff, I would think.
But I'm thinking they have a good start. Oh, let me reckon. Annette, glad to have you here. Elna, and as far as I know, Elna has done very well this week, and prayers are being answered nicely, as far as I know. Brian said Mark Zuckerberg probably going to use Threads to promote his BJJ match with Elon. Could be.
If they, I might pay for that if they fight.
Me too. I want to bet on Elon, but Mark is a lot younger than Elon, and obviously in better shape too. So. Okay. So that was the first story that I went to. Now I'm going to go back to, and I'll do the reading, Will. Unless you feel like it, just let me know.
No, I'm lazy. Sure.
All right.
But I figured I'd come on because I saw when Ted said he would be late this week, so I was like, I'm gonna try to get on.
I appreciate it. Now, so you have posted a few things on Threads.
Like 1 or 2, yeah.
Okay. So I
Just
gather nothing important. You were just trying it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian says if they have their match, they're going to gas out in 5 minutes. It wouldn't surprise me. If you're not used to fighting or being in a ring, which I did a lot of in my mid 50s, I was, going to a gym with a lot of pros. You'd be amazed at how fast you can run out of gas when you're really in a ring and throwing punches and stuff. I would say the average person probably wouldn't last more than a minute and a half. I can last right now at 78. I can probably last 5 minutes, giving it all I've got. I don't think the average person, even in good shape, would last 5 minutes. But of course, punching a heavy bag does help with that kind of endurance. And I have had a heavy bag for years, and I do punch it sometimes. So. Anyway, but you're probably right. They probably both wouldn't last. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't last 5 minutes. So, and I don't think most people ever would. Okay. So, back to our stories. Share screen. Here we go. Okay. Going to the second story. And this one was from Tom's Guide, and this had to do with signing up for Threads. So I just wanted to have everybody know. And I didn't even follow this when I did it earlier. I just went, and it was pretty natural for me. But this will tell you exactly how to do it. So how to download Threads and sign up for your account by Rory Mellon. This was from yesterday. And let's go into read review, get rid of some of these ads. Here's how to sign up for Meta's new Twitter alternative. Okay. Built as a new way to share with text, Threads is a fresh social media platform created by Meta, the company behind both Facebook and Instagram. Unabashedly pitched as a Twitter rival, Threads already boasts over 10 million users. We'll see it's a lot more than that now, and offers a fairly solid suite of features for a social network in its infancy. And if you want to follow Tom's guide on the platform, you'll find us here. If you're already an Instagram user, and that's the key to this thing, then signing up for Threads is super straightforward. Just log in using your existing account credentials, and all your details will transfer over, which mine, I believe, did. You can even opt to follow the same people on Threads that you do on Instagram. And I remember when I signed up, it asked me if I wanted to follow the same. I think I skipped that, but I'm going to definitely do that. If you don't have an Instagram account, you will need to make one first in order to sign up for Threads. So that's the key. You have to have an Instagram account. It's also important to note that signing up for and accessing Threads currently requires a smartphone, so no other way. There's no browser-based version of the site, so you must download the official app on either iOS or Android. I've only done it on Android so far. As of yet, Meta has not announced any details of a desktop version of the site. Even with these initial limitations, Threads is already making waves. Yes, it is. And thanks to the backing of Meta, it's a lot more polished out of the gate than other Twitter alternatives like Blue Sky or Mastodon, neither of which I've tried at all. So if you want to join the growing conversation, here's everything you need to know about how to sign up for Threads. All right, download the Threads app. At the time of writing, now keep in mind it's new, so things could be changing. The only way to sign up for Threads is via its official app, which I downloaded. You can either search for Threads on the iOS or Android store, or you can visit threads.net and scan the QR code in the bottom left-hand corner. I just went to the Play Store and got it. Logging into your Instagram account. Once you've opened the Threads app, click the Login with Instagram button at the bottom of the screen. Now, enter your Instagram account details. And that was easy. All right, select Join Threads. After entering your Instagram account details, you'll be prompted to verify your account, and then you will see a splash screen that explains how Threads works. From here, press the Join Threads option to complete the sign-up process. Yeah, that's as far as I got, really. You're ready to explore all that Threads has to offer, and you can also customize your profile. Yeah, I saw it prompted me that if I wanted to customize it. This can be done independently of Instagram. For example, you can set your Threads account to public while keeping your Instagram private, or vice versa, which is very good, I think. And that's everything you need to know about how to sign up for Threads. We expect the process will eventually be possible without a pre-existing Instagram account. And the proper desktop version of the social media platform may be launched in the future as well. For now, though, while Threads is very much the new kid on the block here, 2 days old, not even, it's already developing into a fairly interesting social network that is a great place to connect with people and share memes, of course. That said, if you signed up for Threads and decided it's not for you, here's how to deactivate your Threads account. And the next story is going to talk about that. Meanwhile, we've got a whole collection of handy walkthroughs to help you get the most out of our Instagram. So check out our guide on how to post to Instagram. But so these are all how to do Instagram stuff. So that's how you sign up. So it's pretty straightforward. Like I said,
George.
Yes, sir.
So, all right. So I don't know. I guess I wasn't paying attention, but was this launch? Was it known? Like, did people know this was coming? Because we didn't talk about it last week.
I knew nothing about it until yesterday. That was the first I had heard about it, and then I saw it was a very, very big deal.
Because it seemed like once they started doing all those limits on people's stuff,
right?
This just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, but they were saying that it was announced that it was going to be Thursday, but it came out Wednesday earlier.
Yeah, but when was it even? Like, when was it announced? You know,
I have no idea. Like I said, I hadn't even heard about it until yesterday. So let me see what Brian's saying here.
I think I heard it somewhere, and then it was like you can download it in advance on the App Store or whatever.
I heard nothing about it until yesterday. Brian said agreed he's talking about between Zuckerberg and Elon. Average person, terrible stamina management. Yeah, it takes a lot to get stamina management. And I've been exercising for 42 and a half years, and my stamina is okay, but I'm 78 years old. But if I didn't
Oh.
exercise as much as I do, I wouldn't be able to last 5 minutes. Throwing haymakers are easily avoided. After 2 rounds, they got nothing left. Then you torture them for 10 more rounds. Yes, and as somebody who's done a lot of boxing and learned a lot from professionals, I can say my style of fighting is more like Joe Frazier's. I'm going to try to kill you and let you kill me, and we'll see who ends up standing. That's how I fight. But you got to have some stamina to be able to do that. So, okay. I've got one more story that I'm going to show you, and that's with deleting it. And it sounds like a real pain, but okay. So this is on Mashable. Twitter compared to Threads won't let you delete your account unless you also delete Instagram. And it's not as bad as it sounds, but you'll find out in a minute. Remember to read the fine print before you rush to sign up. And that's why I didn't rush to sign up. By Amande Yeo, I guess. All right, let's go to read a view. All right, read a view. You're going to click in. Nothing's on that. All right, try read a view once more. There we go. Okay. Threads finally launched this week. See, it says finally this week, so somebody has heard about this before us will, that's for sure. Offering yet another Twitter alternative to those wanting to get off Elon Musk's wild ride. Reports on Threads thus far are mixed, with some users favorably liking Meta's new app to vintage Twitter, while others deride it for features like its algorithmic feed. Unfortunately, settling the matter isn't as easy as simply signing up to check it out and deleting your account if it isn't for you. It appears that once you create a Threads profile, Meta has no qualms. Now, this is the low down part. Meta has no qualms about taking your Instagram account hostage to entice you to keep it. That sounds like so Mark Zuckerberg, in my opinion. You may deactivate your Threads profile at any time. So you can deactivate it, but your Threads profile can only be deleted by deleting your Instagram account. Threads supplemental privacy policy reads, so you can deactivate it. I'd be probably satisfied to do that. Deactivating your Threads profile means other users won't be able to see it, but all your delicious content, I don't have any delicious content, I don't think, will continue to live on the app's servers. Your posts will only be wiped from the Threads servers if you go through and manually delete them one by one. I don't think I'd want to do that, not if I've been there for a little while. If you do go for the nuclear option and delete your Instagram account, all your Threads data will still stay on the service for up to 90 days. So you still have to wait 3 months before it's really gone. It may not make too much of a difference on the front end, but having unwanted Vestigo social media accounts floating around can feel unnerving, especially if you've already tried to delete them. In a post on Threads, Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, said Meta is currently looking for a way to allow you to delete your Threads account separately from your Instagram account. Now, what that says to me as a developer or a programmer is that this has been very much rushed through. Remember, it said it showed up on Wednesday when everybody said it was going to show up on Thursday. So obviously, this was very rushed, because if it wasn't, they wouldn't be looking for a way to allow you. So obviously. Meta also won't let you change your Threads username without changing your Instagram username as well. So they're really tied together. So that tells you it's been rushed. That might be fine if you apply the same tone across all your social media profiles. However, it will likely be annoying for people who intend to use Threads professionally while keeping Instagram for silly memes and K-pop fan cams. So yeah, if you want to use them differently, not so easy to do. Part of the appeal of having different social media accounts that they enable us to curate various online personas that cater to different facets of ourselves. You might be fine having your dad as a Facebook friend, but less fine with him seeing your TikTok thirst traps. Meta's insistence on typing threads. Imagine, I don't think you and I post the kind of stuff that they're talking about, Will. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Meta's insistence on tying threads to Instagram also ties it down, which leaves an opening for less encumbered apps such as Blue Sky to gain an upper hand in the fight to become the new Twitter. Yeah, but Blue Sky's been around a while, and I don't think it's been very successful. That's my impression. Head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, has now addressed the issue in a post of his own Threads account. Threads is powered by Instagram, so right now it's just one account. But yeah, we're looking for a way to delete your Threads account separately. Okay, so they haven't gotten there yet. And Amadeo Yeo is Mashable's Australian reporter covering entertainment, culture, tech, social. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And Ted's here too. Now we've got three of us here. What's up, Ted?
Hey, George.
What's going on,
Hey, Will.
Ted?
What's up?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm all right.
So did you get your saddle for your bike?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's gonna be a good one, but I got a saddle at least.
So you guys are not letting us see either one of you, huh? All they get to look at is
We're
the old guy
incognito.
and not the young, good-looking guys? That's not
We're
fair.
incognito.
Renz, thank you so much, as always, sir. Thank you, Renz.
Did not have enough time to set up the camera.
Oh, Ted, you didn't get to see it. Here it is.
Oh,
the razor, but yeah,
George is balling as usual.
it's got the nice leather there. Yeah, but George won't be buying anything from Samsung this month. You can count on that. Anyway, but yeah, this front screen is awesome. I got it last night. I used it at work all day. Of course, I have a lot to do, but you can pretty much do whatever you want on this screen, on this front screen. It's pretty awesome. And everybody
I was
who I've
watching-
seen, everybody loves this thing. So, and as I said to
I was
Eleanor,
watching,
this is certainly the most beautiful phone I've ever had. That's for sure.
I was
Yeah,
watching Jerry Riggs tear down of the Pixel.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
I watched his original teardown where he really snapped it today when I was sitting in the
Yeah.
back while at work. I watched his follow up. Well, turns out it's because of the aluminum rails. That's the problem.
Mhm.
You know, they should have used stainless steel, but they used aluminum, and that
Cutting
allowed
corners to save money, you know.
exactly.
And then, like you said, if you're going to use the parts like the stuff from Samsung, you're not gonna be able to do much better in the braking thing if you're cutting corners. on it.
Exactly, and he said none. He said all the Samsung previous foldables have passed this test without, getting torn up like this. So, I think
Yeah.
I think Google's got to do a little bit better. Oh,
These
I don't think
these
so.
Pixel,
I think though.
these
Like with the
Pixel
bend
reviews
test?
kinda,
Since when
Yeah,
was that?
I don't.
But he
Nobody's
made-
gonna bend their phone like
but
that. I
if
just
you've
think
seen
that,
a lot of his bend tests, he made this one look very easy. He didn't have to, use that much strength, and it just really shattered.
When was the last time a bend test was relevant anyway? After the Pixel,
Well,
after the iPhone 6?
That's probably true, but still, the fact that it didn't do as well as any of the Samsung foldables, that's what's bothersome, in my opinion.
this whole like fold thing with the
We'll
Pixel,
just
'cause
see if
that would've
someone
been the worst.
snaps their Pixel folding accidentally.
Yeah, and that's true.
That would've-
You got to put a little strength in to do it, I think. Renz is
The
saying
Pixel
something
would have been the
about
one
Blue
folding
Sky.
job.
Renz
But
is
after
saying Blue
watching-
Sky is like Twitter. Dorsey introduced the Blue Sky project back in 2019 while he was still Twitter. Oh, I didn't realize he was still Twitter CEO. The app is still in beta. I didn't know that. And you need to be invited in order to use it. Okay, didn't know that. Guys are teaching me stuff as you usually do.
Yeah, I got Blue Sky. I got the Blue Sky.
So you got Blue Sky. So you haven't tried Threads at all yet?
No, I don't have
Okay.
Instagram, so I don't know if I can.
Oh, so no, you have to have Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, we just said in the article, you have to go get Instagram first before you can even use it. Oh, Ren said it took a year before the Blue Sky team invited him. So, okay.
Damn, a year?
How long did it take for you, Ted?
I feel like it was a few months.
Okay. All right. So I'm learning just like everybody else. Anyway, so I'll be trying Threads over the weekend, but so far the only one who I know who's posted has been Will, and Will posted a couple just to check.
Mike is on. Mike is on Threads too.
Oh, he already got on there. Okay.
Yeah, Mike is on there.
I know Jay Wilson had a big announcement that he was on it.
Do y'all think? Do y'all think it's gonna cause like a problem for Twitter? Like in the long run, I
think obviously Elon thinks so. I'm thinking yes, it's going to.
I think I think Elon is still the biggest problem for Twitter.
He's the problem for Twitter. Yeah,
it's the number one problem. But yeah, this is a number two for sure.
Yeah, because they made such a. I mean, to me, it's already made more of an impact than Blue Sky or anything else, as far as I can tell. Brian saying, not surprising with that Ben test. Samsung's build quality is better than Pixel. Yeah, I gotta say that's probably true. Oh, and here's the link. You guys, Ted, put the link out there for Blue Sky in case you want to try it. Yeah, I'm not going to try it because I'm not willing to wait weeks or months. Right. Thanks, Renz.
So that's why you got the Moto Razr so soon. You couldn't wait for Samsung Impact.
No, I knew I had two flips, and I knew I wanted to try the Motorola, and it's one or the other for me, not both. So I won't be buying anything from Samsung Unpacked this year. But I am kind of waiting to see what OnePlus's foldable is like. I can't honestly say I absolutely won't be buying OnePlus's. If theirs is good, I might try it. And it's not $1,800, So, we ready for more stories?
Yep.
Okay. All right, Ted, you ready to read one?
Yeah. Hold on.
The next one up is the official renders, and it's a short thing. It just shows the pictures. I just thought it was kind of nice. Oh, you want me to do it because it's very short. And you just scroll through the pictures, just kind of showing them off. You want me to do it, or you want to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay, all right. So I am clicking on it now. This was on Ars Technica. All right, whenever you're ready. And I'm not going to put it in reader view because we're just going to be flipping through them right here.
Yep. Hold on. Why doesn't it work? All right, that's the Z Fold 5 and Flip 5 renders. That's what it looks like.
Yep. Starting with the Fold 5 up here. All right, so this is the outside view. Now we're going to click over. Now we've got the inside view, and it says like not much has changed here. You want to read it?
Yeah, the foldables market is really heating up in 2033, especially in the US, with Google and OnePlus joining the fray. Now, Samsung is facing worldwide big screen foldable competition for the first time. All of these use Samsung displays, so Samsung wins regardless.
That's right.
And its competitors this year will be the Z Fold 5, and the Z Flip 5. If you've been wondering what these look like, wonder no longer, because WinFuture's Roland Quat has official images of these devices from nearly every angle, and there are even pictures of the Galaxy Tab S9.
Yeah, which I don't see here, but okay, maybe I missed it. Okay, go ahead.
The big device, the Z Fold 5, looks indistinguishable from the Fold 4. The LED flash. What are you doing?
Yeah, here's your LED flash.
Looks weak. Pathetic.
You stop it.
The LED flash has moved from the bottom of the array to the top.
Okay.
Right-hand side to the main one-inch sensor.
Okay.
And that's about it. That's just on the outside, though. On the inside, there's supposedly a whole new hinge system with Samsung's rumored teardrop design. Where have I heard that before?
Yeah. So that's all we've got, those two pictures. So we're not seeing much on that hinge design, at least in this.
Teardrop hinge design, which is similar to most of the foldable manufacturers have done. Yeah, that's why I heard of it. A teardrop hinge usually has more movable support plates to the left and right of the hinge that can swing out of the way when closing. This allows a flexible display to rest in a teardrop shape instead of being crushed into a hard crease. It also allows the device to fold flat instead of leaving a wedge.
So supposedly this will fall flat. Okay, good.
Let's see. It also allows the device to. An earlier Smart Pricks report had the Fold 5 dimensions at 13.4 millimeters when folded, and the Fold 4 ranging from 14.2 to 15.8 due to the wedge folding design.
Okay, now we move on to the flip.
From the smaller flip phone, foldable or flippable, the Flip 5 Samsung beats Moto's new Razr with a bigger front screen. Samsung's official black wallpaper and a black bezel doesn't illuminate this well. Oh, yeah, I can't barely see it.
Yeah, here, yeah.
Oh, there you can see it.
Yeah.
Doesn't look anything special, but at least the camera doesn't get in the way, it seems.
Yeah, well, their big thing was to get that display bigger because everybody's crazy about this display from the Motorola. So at least now they have competition, thank God.
The Tab S9 looks identical to the last version, complete with the Apple Notch design system. Everything is probably getting a spec bump, presumably to some Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Yep, and that's by Media Peanut, guys.
And here it says end of July. Well, now we know it's July 26th. So anyway, there's all three pictures. There's from the side. Okay. That's it. So that's pretty much it was showing you official render, so I thought it was a good idea to let you guys see what those look like anyway. So let me stop screen. Let's see. Brian says what Threads will hurt Twitter some. Yeah, I think it will too. Okay. Will, you still there? Did we lose Will?
Will fell asleep because the full design
He
was so
probably went to
boring.
another room. Sounded like his kids were wanting some attention too. All right, so I'm going to go over to. Didn't mean to do that. I'm going to go over back to sharing screen to the next story. And I guess I'll read that. Okay. And oh yeah, this I thought was just an interesting story. I'm guessing everybody hasn't heard about this. I said Apple cutting back on Visual Pro production. This is again on Digital Trends. I was heavy on Digital Trends this week. So Apple may already be cutting back Vision Pro production by Luke Larson. And just so you know, going in, this is not Apple's fault. So let's go to read a view. Okay, let's go to read a view. Okay. Camera. Sometimes read a view takes a second. Okay. The unveiling of the Vision Pro headset was a big moment for Apple, but not one without its fair share of lukewarm responses, I guess because of the price. And now the company may be facing another issue, production problems. According to a report from the Financial Times, Apple is having to dramatically cut the production of the Vision Pro from over 1 million to less than 400,000. So that's like about a third. That's a lot of cutting, but that's not on Apple though. This reportedly comes from two sources close to both Apple and the manufacturer, Luxshare. The China-based company has increasingly become an important supplier to Apple since last year when it took on most of the share of production of iPhones, AirPods, and other Apple devices in the wake of the protests over pandemic lockdowns at Foxconn. I didn't know they had taken over most of the production, but I guess they did. The over 1 million was reportedly the target internal sales goal, which is pretty ambitious for a brand new device that costs $3,500. The report doesn't indicate that the drop in production is due to lowered expectations around demand. Rather, it seems to be more of a problem with actually getting these things made. So again, supply issues. The issue is the industry is still catching up to the manufacturing issues created during the pandemic. Like I said, supply issues, even for a company as commanding as Apple. But a new product is a new product, especially one as custom and high-end as the Vision Pro. TechCrunch's summary of the report notes the difficulty of the tiny 4K mini OLED displays in particular. So I guess they're hard to make, and there's a whole bunch of them in there. The report also notes that there may be a trickle-down effect on the release of the cheaper version of the Vision Pro, presumably called just the Vision. While the Vision Pro was scheduled for release in 2024, the cheaper model is rumored for 2025. See, I thought it was coming later than that, the cheaper one. We'll have to see how the release dates play out, but clearly bringing these new spatial computing devices into existence isn't going to be easy as a new MacBook or iPad. So I just thought it was an interesting story. So they're not going to be able to get as many as they thought, but like I said, not on Apple, that's on supply chain. Nobody has control of that yet. So interesting. Will, are you back? No, I guess Will is not back. Well, at least we had him for a little while. All right, so I'm going to slide down to the last story. Now, Ted, this is the story about the Razr Plus. This is a long story, the longest one I've had tonight. So you want to start it and I'll finish it, and when you get tired, or you want to just try the whole thing?
Yeah, we can break it in half.
All right, just let me know.
By the way, totally Apple's fault about the Vision Pro.
Why is it totally Apple's fault?
Because they decided to announce it when they knew full well there was a shortage. Hell, they probably even caused the shortage, supply chain shortage.
I don't think so, because they had problems with getting the iPhones out. The 13s they had problems getting out. I remember that. And I still wouldn't blame them, because the company told them that they'd be able to get the supplies, and then they couldn't. I wouldn't automatically assume it's Apple's fault. That's just me. All right, whenever you're ready, we're back on digital trends.
I think Apple's even delaying it. They're just using an excuse.
I don't think so. I want to point out, and I pointed out earlier, this is by Joe Maring. Now, I've been following Joe Maring. I can remember him when he first started writing. He was about 15 or 16, still in high school. I remember when he graduated high school. Now he's, I think, in his late 20s. So this guy's a very good writer, and I have a high opinion of his of what he thinks of the devices. So that's why I picked this. So whenever you're ready. You there?
Yep. I've reviewed phones for 10 years. This is my favorite one of 2023 by Joe Merrick.
Maring.
9 minutes. I want to see if I can do it in 4.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
I've been reviewing phones for a long time, over 10 years to be exact. I've reviewed many of the best phones. Some mediocre ones, a few duds that I'd rather forget about. Some of
the best phones of all time. You left that part out, which he has.
I don't know what he considers the best phones.
I remember some of the phones he's done, and trust me, he has done some of the best phones of all time. Trust me.
Really? Well, let's click on that link then. Let's see. Click on that link. Let's see what he considers best phones.
He just has the best phones of 2023 here.
Let's scroll down a bit. We'll see about that. iPhone 14 Pro. Yeah, it's the best Apple device that a person can get. Okay, I'll give him that one.
And the third phone down is the best phone ever made. Period. And I'm not the only one that thinks so.
Wait, best phone for iOS users, best phone for iOS users, runner up, best phone for Android. Okay, yeah. So nope, never mind. He hasn't reviewed diddly.
Okay, well, like I said, I've been
If he's just
following him for 10 years.
If he's just focusing
Obviously,
on the
you have-
US audience, then he hasn't reviewed the best phones of all time. Maybe for Americans, but not worldwide. And they make phones around the world, George. Did you know that?
Did
Well, you know that.
How many phones do you know that beat iPhone around the world? I don't know many. A couple, maybe, but not many.
I'm sure. Let's see. Well, let me ask Google.
I don't think you could find 5 phones of all time that could beat iPhone in any given year, anywhere.
Let's see. What's
I think you'll find 2 or 3.
selling phone?
Meanwhile, shall I read this article or?
No. This is his hiatus. Best. Oh my gosh! Best-selling phone in India in 2022 is the Apple iPhone 13, according to Bard. Bard, are you sure? 91mobiles.com has been. Oh my goodness, India.
Yeah, I saw that a few months ago. Apple took over because before that they always went for the cheaper phones. But yeah, they started buying a lot of iPhone 13s. I know that. I saw that somewhere too.
Times must be good for India, or maybe they're just happy that they're moving factories to India.
No, I think times are good. Some people's economies are doing well, and they keep getting better. And most of the people who have real capitalist economies, those are the ones whose people, over the years, and you can go back 100 years, they keep getting better and better and better, and you'll find millions and millions and millions of more people keep rising up. That's what capitalism does. Nothing else can do that.
Okay, let's see. All right, so back to the article. I've tested and evaluated in the past decade, but there are a few that truly stand out. The Moto Razr Plus is one such smartphone. The Moto Razr Plus has been my go-to smartphone for a few weeks now, and it's one of the rare phones that I can't stop thinking about. Is it perfect? Not at all. The camera should be much better, especially given how expensive. I thought the phone was like $800. Is it not?
No, it's $1,000. $999.99.
Oh, okay. The battery doesn't last any longer than a day. Wireless charging is slow, and there's no reverse wireless charging. Okay, whoever calls that a problem. Motorola's track record for software update leaves a lot to be desired.
Actually, what's his name? Flossie calls that a problem all the time, as a matter of fact.
Those things all work against the phone, and why it's scored an 8 out of 10 in my Motorola Plus review rather than 9 or a perfect 10. While those are very real and important cons, that doesn't stop the Razr Plus from creating a special place in my nerdy heart. Here's why. The Razr Plus is a work of art. I typically don't care too much about how my phone looks. In a world where most phones are slightly tweaked versions of Glass Slab, it's hard to get too excited about the smartphone design in 2023. The Razr Plus has been a wonderful exception to this. By nature, folding phones are already more visually interesting than non-folding ones. The Razr Plus already has that going for it, but Motorola went a step further and made the phone one of the most striking I've seen in years. A lot of this has to do with the Viva magenta color you see in photos here. As someone whose favorite color is red, I'm a bit biased toward any red-clad smartphone, but the Razr Plus is by far the best red phone I've ever had the pleasure of using.
And I think it's the best looking phone I've ever had by far.
The best red phone. I don't know. I think the HTC U11 was a pretty nice looking red phone.
I had the HTC U11, but
You didn't have it in red?
no, didn't have it in red. No, I
That
had
was
it in blue.
That was a very nice looking red phone.
It was a nice looking phone all the way around, but this I think is still better. That's my opinion, of course.
Let's see how about the BlackBerry Key 2 red? That was a nice looking red too.
I've never had a BlackBerry ever.
One keeps, flashing it every, now and then again.
Okay.
The glossy aluminum helps the red color stand out no matter what angle you're looking at the Razer Plus from. The buttons, the frame, the aluminum peeking out over the cover screen are all easily visible.
Yeah, I'm trying to show you that right here.
Meaning there's no hiding its bold look unless you have really big hands and a red wrist strap and a cowboy hat. But that's not even the best part.
I'm not a little guy,
Rather than using glass or plastic, the back of the Viva Magenta Razer Plus is a vegan leather. That means no one had to die.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
And it feels wonderful, trust me. I had a bunch of women touch this while I was working today, and they all loved the feel of it.
And then what do you say, George?
Oh, I love it. I think it's wonderful. Eleanor loved it too.
No, George. What do you say to the women that say they like the feel of leather?
I say it's the nicest phone I've ever had. What else would I say? I said it was the best looking phone I've ever had.
I maybe something on the lines of, if you like the feel of leather, you should feel my skin.
I don't say stuff like that to women.
Aged leather.
There was a time when I said stuff like that, but in my younger days, most women were more jealous of my skin because my skin was usually softer than theirs, which becomes a problem when you're boxing, by the way, but not if you don't care how much you get hit.
Like, leather ages finer when it ages, right?
My skin is still softer than most women, so I'm not worried about it.
Softer than Eleanor's?
Yes.
Wow. That is soft.
And my skin has been softer than I'd say 90% of the women I've ever gone out with my entire life. I just have soft skin. Now, when I'm in a boxing ring, that means I cut up very easily.
Yep.
I just don't care how much I get cut up.
No one puts, you don't have a cut man putting Vaseline over you?
No, I'm one of those boxers that hit me all day. As long as I can hit you, I don't care how much you hit me. You will not knock me down and you will not whip me. Matter of fact, the one time I got the trainer who was a pro boxer himself to get in the ring with me, I did finally catch him. He was a pro and I'm 55 years old, but I finally saw his hand drop and I caught him with a good shot. Well, all of a sudden, I found out how much he was playing with me because he hit me with 3 quick shots and I'm seeing stars blinking like crazy. I mean, literally seeing stars. I never forget that. And I said, I'm okay. He says, oh, no, we're done. Because his face said, I'm not killing no 55-year-old man in here. But we're getting out of the ring. And he said to me, you would get killed in the ring. And I said, why? He said, because you won't fall down. I said, that's true. Nobody's going to make me fall down, period. So that's just how I fight.
Is your skin softer than the leather on the Razer, on your Razer?
Much softer. Much softer.
Okay.
But I didn't ask any of the ladies to touch my skin today, so that's okay.
Okay. Wasted moments.
Exactly.
No, I'm sure they'll come around. You can ask, like, hey, feel which leather, which
I'm
is
not
softer.
asking them to come around. I'm not worried about it.
All right.
You have to understand. I guess I've never said this to you. I've said it to a bunch of other guys. I've had my share of women and 10 other guys, so I'm not worried about it.
All right, let's see. Rather than using glass or plastic, again, we have the vegan leather.
Right.
It's a material that we rarely see on smartphones today, and it's been an absolute treat to have it on the Razer Plus. It's grippy, comfortable, and it gives the phone a distinct look and feel from anything else on the market. Calling it a work of art may be superfluous, but I can't remember the last time I had a phone where the design stood out this much to me. You can't remember a time. BlackBerry Key 2, HTC U11. What was that other phone by Nothing? The Nothing phone. I regularly find myself.
Nothing fun. I would probably agree. I haven't had one in my hand, but I'd probably agree with you there.
Or what was that other phone? Ugly phone, but hey, that's a design that stood out. The hydrogen phone.
I remember the name. I don't remember the phone at all, though.
The Red, by Red, the camera maker.
Oh yes, that was the biggest failure. One of the biggest failures of all time. That's right.
I regularly find myself simply looking at it and appreciating the Razer Plus designs, and that's something I've not done for a phone in a very long time. Again, BlackBerry Key 2. What was not nothing, but what was the other phone by the Phone 1, the PH1, Phone 1?
Oh yeah, but that was what's his name?
Andy Rubin.
Andy Rubin. Yeah, and
What was that phone called?
I forgot.
Essential.
Essential. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great looking design. And then they had the special edition ones. Whoo!
It had a nice design, but his reputation ruined everything. I don't. If it could have been the best phone in the world, his reputation was worse than that and ruined it all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Wait, the employees, they were supposed to put out a phone. What the heck happened to it? That's supposed to be due out last year.
I think they all wanted to get away from him and the fact that his name was still associated with it. Yeah, that.
Yeah, they did get away with them. They made their own company. They were supposed to put out a phone by the end of last year.
I just don't think his name would have ever been disassociated from the phone. That's what I think.
Focused. Let's see. The Z Flip 4 is my first introduction to the world of folding flip phones, and it's immediately sold me on the form factor.
Yeah,
but
same with me, except first it started with the 3, and now I still have the 4. But I agree.
But one of my biggest annoyances with it was the small limiting cover screen. And even other phones have shipped with the larger cover screens. They've been hesitant to let you do anything interesting with them. Once again, the Razer Plus stands here and for better. The specs includes a 3.6-inch cover screen, OLED panel, and 144 Hz refresh rate are outstanding, but the real magic lies with the software. More specifically, how Motorola lets you run virtually any Android app on the Razer Plus cover screen.
And they all say that. Almost every review I've seen says the same thing.
Using apps on such a small display may sound like a silly idea, but in practice, it's shockingly useful. I can easily scroll through Telegram messages, respond using Gboard. When I'm out shopping, I can view and check items on my grocery list with ease. That's cool. Yeah. It's the perfect little canvas for controlling podcasts on the Pocket Cast using my smart lights from the Google Home, scanning my barcode to pay at Starbucks. You get the idea.
Yeah.
I
need to get the Home app on mine because I use it for mine. I use that for my lights every single day.
Would I want to waste hours playing Marvel Snap or doom scrolling Twitter on the Razer Plus cover screen? No, but that's what makes it so perfect. It's just as big and functional enough that I can do all my necessary mundane tasks, but not so much that I accidentally get sucked into an app or game that I don't need to be on. I love it. I'll sing my praise for Motorola software any chance I get. I've used a lot of various Android interfaces over the years, but Motorola's take on Android continues to be one of the best. I love to coming back the most. That I agree with. The software on this Your Moto Edge I have with me is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at Mike. Nobody loves Moto software more than he does.
I also think Motorola's approach to software design is one of the best out there. The user interface is almost identical to the 7 and the 7 Pro Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, meaning Android 13 gets to shine the way Google intended without any unwanted cruft. And if you do want to tweak the aesthetic,
what is cruft? I've never seen. Is that a real word?
That's it. Hey Google, is cruft a real word?
Did it answer you?
On the website Britannica.com, they say cross check. I also found an answer to this question. What is the old word for cross? Do you want to hear it?
No.
He doesn't want to hear it.
Let's see. As someone who could lose hours mindlessly changing how my phone look is dangerously good.
Okay.
And he's saying the little charming details makes a difference. Oh, that's a good little wallpaper or I want to know what is that? Is that wallpaper or a lock screen? Looks interesting. Some of my favorite aspects of the Moto Razr Plus don't really make sense. They are things you can't easily quantify in review, and they have little impact on how good or bad the phone objectively is. Even so, there are details I simply adore. Take the Moto time clock as an example. One of the many clock faces you can set to the Moto Razr Plus's cover screen. It displays that's what it was. It displays an animated cat-like cartoon that does various things throughout the day. In the morning, it's getting ready for the day with a cup of coffee. In the afternoon, it sits at the laptop working away with me. It takes a subway ride home later in the evening, hops onto the Motorola blended phone while lying in bed at night, and eventually it falls asleep. That's nice. Did you notice it?
I mean, he's very honest about it here. I think it's great.
Okay, you like it too?
I haven't had it long enough to say all of this. He's had it for much longer than me. But I like everything I read about it.
This doesn't technically make the phone any better or worse in any way, but it adds a sense of charming character that's lacking too often from smartphones. I hear that.
Yeah.
The Razr Plus also comes pre-installed with an assortment of games optimized perfectly for the cover screen, like Marble Mayhem, a marble puzzle game that you can rotate the Razr Plus.
I saw that as I was flipping by, but I haven't had a chance to play any of them.
Their stack bounce, equally great. Tap the screen to crush the ball through colored blocks. They're fun, simple time clips that exist only to make the phone more fun. And of course, there's the Retro Razr mode that turns the Razr Plus into an old school Razr flip phone, complete with a functional dialer, mentioning internet shortcuts, and more.
Cool.
Have you?
I can see myself sitting in back of the car when I'm at work, when I'm not driving, playing these games.
Hey, George, can you show us the old school, the Retro Razr?
I don't know how to do that yet. I read it, but I don't know where they put it. Let me go see if I see anything in the settings. But I
Don't know how to do it.
no. I've had it less than a day so far. Let me see if I see anything in the settings. Keep going.
The Razr Plus is imperfect, but I love it. As I mentioned at the beginning of the article, the Razr Plus is imperfect. $1,000 is a much money to spend on a smartphone, and if you want the most bang for your buck, there are objectively better options out there. But we shouldn't only think objectively about phones. Here. Smartphones are very personal devices, and naturally, there's a subjective nature to them. Performance, battery life, camera quality are obviously important, but you know what else is? How a phone looks, how it makes you feel. In the words of Marie Kondo, does it spark joy in your life? Well, did you figure it out?
No, I can't find it. I'm not going to find it that quick.
I can think of other phones I recommend more than this. Those aren't things that can easily rate or compare, but you damn well know that when you see them. At least for me, the Razr Plus is one of those rare phones that nails those subjective questions. It's not the Android phone I recommend to replace your iPhone, but if you're ready for something fresh, charming, and different, I can think of a few other phones I'd recommend more than this.
Cool. Anyway, I thought it was a good article, and he makes these minor points that add them together. They're probably pretty important. Anyway, I thought that was a very good article, and you did read the whole article. I got to give you credit. I'm only going to give you credit because I'm not giving you cash. So we got through everything. I don't know where Will went. I'm thinking he must have got busy with his kids because I could hear his kids were near him and then he disappeared on us. But he was here for a little while, so I appreciate that. Now let me see what let me stop screen. Brian has been let's see. Apple's fault for believing in. Apple's dominating. Front screen is nice on the Moto. Yeah, the front screen I think is beautiful. Well, everybody thinks so. 1+6 red was very nice. Yeah, I remember seeing, but I didn't have that in red, but I remember seeing it. He thinks women probably want the leopard skin back. I didn't know there was a leopard skin back. I don't think there is, but this, I don't think you're going to get better than this one. What else is Brian said? No, man, put the grease on my face. don't like to watch Floyd fight, but I would rather box like him. No, I'm see, and that's where we're different. I'm very, very much a toe-to-toe guy. Always have been, even when I was young. I was always the one that could hit me all day long. When I hit you, you're going down because I'm not going down. That's always,
Same, Brian. I would much rather duck and weave.
no, I don't want to duck and weave. I want to deck you, and I want, and I had the same attitude about playing defensive football, and I never played much football, but my attitude is always in any force sport like boxing or football. What I want is for you to be afraid of me. The only way I know to make you afraid of me is to take whatever you've got and make you be the one to go down. Once that happens, you're the one who's afraid, not me. That's always been my attitude about boxing. Let's see. Brian says, I wonder if Motor would work with D. I looked up D Brand and I couldn't find anything for this phone. I was hoping D Brand, because they had, my favorite skin that I got from my Flip 4 was from D Brand, and I still use it, and I still have it on there. But I couldn't find anything on D Brand for this phone. And Brian did remember it was Essential Phone, before we did. So, I wish D Brand had a skin like the one I had for the Flip 4, because that green skin that I got from them was awesome, I thought. And it was only $40-some, I think. Anyway, it was pretty good. So, if they come out with one, I'll probably end up getting it. I have a case on the way, but it had to come from China, and I think it finally got out of China on an airplane yesterday. So I'm hoping in the next couple of days. But I saw a cheap case on Amazon today that I almost bought. I'll probably end up buying. This was like 17 something. So I may end up getting that one too, and see how long it takes to get here. So anyway, I expect I'm going to really be loving this phone. And of course, I loved my Flip 4 for a very, very long time. I just expect I'm going to love this more. We'll see. No, but I'm going to try to do some comparisons over the weekend between the two. So look forward to that, folks. So that's it, Ted. I'm so glad you made it. So is the saddle that you got very different from the one you had, or is it like the same kind?
It was the closest kind that the Bike Mart had.
Okay.
Bicycle store had.
Okay.
Closest one they could get, but it still feels very different.
Oh, yeah, and they always do. I've never had a saddle on a bicycle that felt exactly the same as the one before.
Yeah. The one I had before, it wasn't a stock one. I bought that off Amazon. Like,
Right.
it wasn't much, but it did make my bicycle riding considerably comfortable.
Yeah, and you do this every day, right?
Yeah, and going to the store, obviously you go to the store, it's brick and mortar store, it's gonna cost more, but
Right.
like it was better materials, but I couldn't say that it felt better, like even though it was better materials and a
And
higher
I
price
find
tag.
for myself, I have a particular bicycle store that I go to, which is not the one I bought my bicycle from, my Trek originally. But these guys always treat me well. They never overcharge me. I bought my second bike because I alternate bikes every other time. There too, and they always have high end. And I agree with you. You going to the brick and mortar, if you're going to get something for a bicycle, you're much better off doing it in person. I agree.
Yeah.
And you see what Brian said. Good to have you and Will on the show. So
Yeah,
agree,
I was
Brian.
lucky to get Will for a little bit.
Yep. So we all got lucky today. So
Yep.
I'm hoping one of these days when Mike gets back from vacation, that's by some miracle he'll pop in here. But as soon as he starts making money, I think we've lost him to the money. That's my guess anyway. All right, guys. Thanks for everybody who came in today. And thanks to Brian and Renz. As always, you guys are so faithful and so kind.
Yeah, you guys rock.
Annette, thanks for being here. Eleanor, thanks for being here. So glad Will was here too. Mario, thanks for being here. And we will see you guys next week. And I'll try to get some videos out over the weekend on this phone. And Please keep an eye out for it and share the videos around and spread the love. And let's always remember we all do better when we love each other. And we will see you next week, folks.